Well, Jesus said the poor is always going to be with us, and we need to help them. Valentin and Maud Booth said, go wherever you're needed and do whatever is at hand. And that was our driving force, providing for the basic needs to stabilize the families for more permanency in their life and independence. When we arrived in Everett, I was a little embarrassed to what we called a food basket. They gave them a jar of peanut butter, a can of beans, and a loaf of bread and called it a food basket. And I said, let's make sure that there is a minimum of a 3 to 4 day supply. 3 meals a day for each members of the family. We realized a lot of success in families' life when we dealt with their basic needs, and they partnered with us in educating and training themselves for a future life. We sent out a bulletin to all the local churches and agencies that if they helped us distribute food in their communities, that we will share with them, and the coalition then become a very strong unit, knowing they have support from one another and from the Volunteers of America that supplied many of them up to 80% of the food that they gave away. It's heartwarming, the collaborations that we have built. If we can't help, then we can refer to people that can help.
Well, the city of Salton is a fairly isolated community, just at the base of Stevens Pass. Small community, small business base, primarily a residential area. The Boys and Girls Club role in the city of Salton is pretty significant. I received a call on Christmas Eve 2010, a call that nobody wants to get, that there was a fire, and by the time I got to the scene, within a few hours, both buildings were totaled, demolished, were not going to be usable. Well, during the course of the night and into the next day, luckily, a gentleman by the name of Dave Wood, who works for Volunteers of America at the site there, the Family Resource Center, that's the neighboring site, approached us and said, hey, I think we can get you open on Monday in one of our facilities, and it was a great blessing. I can sit here and say without that support and interest by Volunteers of America, we would not have opened up literally on Monday. The kids didn't miss a beat. So what came out of disaster was a great thing, and it led to a partnership that developed between our two organizations, between Volunteers of America and Boys and Girls Clubs of Snohomish County. Maybe we can continue a partnership and rebuild permanently on your property. And so we found a way to do that. What eventually evolved was a campus-like setting, an oasis, if you want to call it, for Sky Valley. You obviously have the Boys and Girls Club now, so there's something there for kids. Then you have the early childhood education program, which is for the before school or preschool kids. You have another facility there that's for the senior citizens, that they have a place that they can socialize. Another part of the campus is the Family Resource Center, where families can come to get help or assistance, whether it's for the food bank, that's also there. It's kind of one-stop shopping for all of us, all of the nonprofits. The more that we can do together and work together and take advantage of each of our strengths and bring them under one roof, I think that's a win-win for everybody.
So over 100 years ago, the founders of Volunteers of America stated as their vision to go where is needed and do what comes to hand. The concept of a neighborhood integrated service center came about because of the overwhelming recognition that a large number of our children have limited resource and access to the opportunities they need to be successful in school and prepared for life. Families are being torn apart by the stress and financial burden of being the primary care providers for 3 generations of family members. It was motivating to us to create a different shared vision of how we provide services to our most vulnerable and stay true to our values of being community-based. While the community has changed over the years, the values here at Volunteers of America have not. The values of being compassionate, the value of acting with integrity, the value of being community-based, the value of partnership. It's been said that having a positive vision of one's future is the most powerful motivator for change you and I have. And I believe that's true not only for the single mother who comes into a food bank, but it's also true for you and I on how we shape and create a dynamic, positive community for us all to live in as we move forward into the 21st century.